Let me know when you're in here. Is E? Come on in, everybody. Come on in. I'm waiting for you. I am waiting for you. Come on in. Let me know when you're in here. Oh, where is that recording from? Is E? Psychos. Oh. Is that Instagram? Where's that playing from? Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. It's Dr. Barbara Sweeney. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, just giving people time to get in the room. Get in the room. We're going to finish up our lesson on identity. I think I just saw Demetria pop up. Make sure you share this live, like, share, subscribe. We are showing on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to stop by here. We're going to get started in just a minute, just giving people time to get in the room. This is day 4 of our 15-day live series where we are healing, leading, and leveraging our stories. This week we've been dealing with identity. Who are we? Who are you really? Who are you without the things? Who are you without the position, without the marriage, without all of these roles that we take on? If you would share this live, make sure you're following Dr. Barbara Sweeney on all of the major social media platforms at Dr. Barbara Sweeney. If you're in here, go ahead and say hello. If you're on TikTok, make sure you go up and get your daily heart me. I sound so official. Hello, everybody. Sweet Annie's, thank you. I think you just came over from the living room, didn't you? It's awesome to see everybody here. Come on in. Make sure you share this out, please, so everybody will know that I'm on. This is day 4 of our 15-day live series. We are leveraging what we lost. Everything that we thought we needed, we find ourselves without it. We're going to get started in just a minute. We're going to be on for about 30 minutes. Let's present. Okay. Everybody doing okay? Get all your friends in here. Just waiting for some people to come in on Facebook and YouTube, and then we're going to jump in. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sweet Annie's. Thank you. Okay. Wealth Made Easy says, I'm not staying. I have a meeting. Thank you so much just for stopping by. Tell me how to flip my screen, because I did try to flip it, but for some reason, I don't know what I'm doing on that part with flipping the screen. Thank you, Facebook. Listen, if you're watching from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or LinkedIn, please type in the comments to let me know that you're here. I'm sharing from multiple platforms from one platform, and I can't see if you're there. So if you can just type in the comments, and I'm going to try to flip the screen for TikTok so that you can see the mirror of what we're looking at and what we're going to be talking about today. Alexa off. Thank you, Wealth Made Easy. Give me a second and they're going to tell me what to do to get it turned around. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. This is day 4 of our 15-day live series. We're talking about healing, leading, and leveraging what you lost by reclaiming who you were before the story. So I'm Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm a life and leadership coach and coach trainer. I'm the founder and CEO of Deeper Women Lead Global. I help women in leadership heal, lead, and leverage their stories for legacy by reclaiming and reconnecting with the woman they were before the story. Now, my company mainly focuses on women, but you know that we all need this identity work because we've all basically been victims of identity theft, identity theft. We came in this world fully packaged with everything that we needed. And then somewhere along the way, our confidence was chipped away at. We lost the thing that we were supposed to be doing. So at Deeper Women, that's really what we focus on. How do I stand fully in the authority of who I am? How do I stand fully in the understanding that my job is really to expand my impact and influence, live an expansive life? Thank you so much for sharing the live. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I love my TikTok family. This is so cool to see y'all in here. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and jump in. So on day one, I think it was Sunday that we started. On day one, we started with you're not stuck. You're just attached to the wrong story. So we talked about similar to something that we just finished talking about in the living room. What story are you telling yourself? What happened to you that you're still living through the lens of? We also talked about on day two, repositioning yourself. When I was going through all of the things, and if you're new here, I'll catch you up just a little bit. After going through a divorce and demotion at the top of my career and being married for 20 years, I found myself in the middle of a divorce, as well as going through a major career shift, and had to really get back to who I was. So all of the things that I had attached my identity to were basically stripped away, more like ripped away. That's how it felt at the time. Those things were ripped away, and I really went on this path of identity. I found myself in a full-blown identity crisis and had to get back to me, understanding who I am, what I was sent here for, and what I'm supposed to do with all of that. Okay, they're saying they're spreading the word. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. My story, let me tell you, we all have a story. My story, she said, Sweet Annie says, your story sounds like mine. And you know what, Sweet Annie's, when I was going through all of this, as a professional woman, we don't necessarily get the space to go and I call it cry without judgment. There weren't a whole lot of spaces out there for me. There weren't a whole lot of places that I could go. So that was really why I created Deeper Women Lead Global. Deeper Women Lead Global was actually born out of this little book that I wrote 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. It's Always Deeper. When I launched this book in 2018, I didn't want to have just another run-of-the-mill book launch. I really wanted it to be a place where professional women could come and share their stories. So I invited or coerced 4 of my friends in leadership to come and share their stories and strategies for life, love, and leadership. That was 8 years ago. And for the last 8 years, that's what I've been building. This entire platform is built around women, and now we've added Deeper Men sharing their stories. So we have an event every year that's Deeper Women Speak. So women can come and share their stories on the stage at Deeper Women Speak. We have Deeper Conversations, which is our podcast that we'll be launching this summer. We've done 5 episodes, but we'll be relaunching Deeper Conversations. And now we are doing the Leverage program. So with Leverage What You Lost, basically that's based on the book that's coming out. I wrote my first book because I needed to heal and I needed to share the story. And I've written several books in between. We have an opportunity for men and women to be a part of our anthology project. You can, if you're not ready to write your own complete book, then we give you the opportunity to write at least a chapter in our book, Deeper Women Teach. My most recent book, Leverage What You Lost. I wrote this book because I learned how to leverage my story. So this is all about how to put together a platform, how to use your story to build a movement. And that's what we do. But it's very difficult to do any of that if you don't reconcile the things that you need to reconcile with inside of yourself. As I was going through all of that, it was a huge deep dive into my identity, who I am, what am I attaching myself to, and how that's playing out in my life. Bob Quinn, who is one of my favorite leadership gurus, said that the pressure to change, the divorce, the demotion, all of that, the pressure to change usually comes from the outside, but it is always an inside out. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the comments. It's always an inside out process that starts at the individual level. Wealth Made Easy is trying to help me turn the camera. Okay, click the three buttons on the right and then click on mirror. Okay, let me, hold on. Three buttons on the right. I don't see three buttons. I don't see three buttons on the right. Let's see. I don't see three buttons on the right. Okay. Thank you for liking the live. I don't see three buttons on the right. I'm going to have to do that next time. Oh, wait. There they are. Hold on. Hey, we're cooking with grease. Did I do it? Yay! Did I do it? Y'all tell me on TikTok if I did it. All right. If you're here on Facebook, make sure you are in the comments so I can tell that you're here. Just help me out so I can see you. I can't see you through the platform unless you're typing in. So make sure you're typing in something. Thank you so much for your support. Yay, I love it. Paul's Plants Projects. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so, y'all. I'm just overwhelmed with all of this support. Thank you so much. I certainly appreciate you coming. We're going to jump in so that I can cover everything that I need to cover while we're here. Tonight, we're going to be working on defining who we are, because the truth is, it's going to be difficult for us to go to the next level in the same identity that got us to this level. We know that what brought us here is not going to get us there. So we're ready to break out and start expanding our impact and expanding our influence. We want to go to the next level. Sometimes that requires you to become something different. Last night we talked about making a decision. You don't necessarily become that girl or that guy overnight. It's not over time. It's not an overtime process. It is a decision. When you decide to heal, when you decide that I don't want to be angry anymore, I don't want to sit here frustrated anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, then something in your body lines up with where you're going next. So you have to make a decision. I'm going to decide that I want to do something different. I'm going to decide that I want to change my life. And because our identities, and we went through all of that over the past 3 days, so you guys can go back and watch the video. We talked about how our identity is layered and so many things are on top of them. But what we try to do is we try to go from the outside in. We try to change our actions. Then we get frustrated because the actions are not getting us to what we need. And then we look at our belief system and what we're actually believing. Yes, I'm going to the gym, I'm working out, but I don't feel like going. I know that I need to do this, but do I believe that this is helping me? So all three of those things are on the top of your identity. So you have to shift to I'm the girl who works out, and then let it go from the inside out. I'm the girl who works out, therefore I'm going to the gym. There's no I don't feel like it. Even if I don't feel like it, there's no I don't feel like it. I'm the girl who goes to the gym. So we talked about that part of your identity. And tonight we're going to continue our conversation with there are 5 questions, and I've added a bonus question. There are 5 questions that every leader must ask. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I from? What are my gifts? And what do I value? We added a bonus here. Who do I serve? We're going to go through each of these questions, but what I want to know and what I want you thinking about is which of these questions have you most recently and most frequently contemplated? Which one of these questions have you most recently and most frequently contemplated? Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I from? What are my gifts? What do I value? And who do I serve? This is all about clarity, getting clarity about who you are. Now, Dr. Sweeney completely understands that this is not overnight work. This is tough. This is deep work, but I'm here to guide you. I'm here to support you through this work, and this is not work that you can get done in 30 minutes. My goal is just to crack you open. We also talked about how the subconscious mind and the body, actually the body works at the will of the subconscious mind, and it takes the conscious mind to make the decision that you're going to want to do something different. When all of the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body are all lined up, we call that bondage. Nobody's doing anything different. The conscious mind is falling in love with the subconscious mind, is following what the body is doing. They're all lined up. That's bondage. That's the day-to-day. You're getting up, you're going to work, and you're doing the thing. You're cooking dinner, you're doing the thing, and you're still unfulfilled. Then you move into conflict. That's when there's a why. Let me just pull this down so y'all can see it. That's when you bring in a why idea. Let me slow down a little bit and not let the clock dictate to me what we're doing. I tell the clock what to do. All right, this is my artwork. So here's the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and your body. When all of the X's, when everybody's doing the same thing, the conscious mind is not making any decisions. They're just going along. The subconscious mind does not have the ability to reject. So anything that you hear, anything that you experience is locked in right here in your subconscious mind. Then your body falls suit. That's why you walk by the cake and you just, before you know it, the cake is in your mouth. You didn't even realize you were doing it. That's because the conscious mind is not saying, no, wait. When a new idea pops in, you was scrolling and stopped by this live and you said, what is she talking about? Oh my gosh. That's when a why idea is coming in. Reasoning, I might need to do something different. I believe I need to do something different. I'm your why. Dr. Sweeney is your why. I'm here to interrupt the pattern, interrupt your day-to-day, interrupt the notion that you might be too old, interrupt the notion that it might be too late, interrupt the notion that I can't do anything else. There's a whole world out here. So that's my goal, just to crack you open. I know that this is deep work and we can't get it all done in 30 minutes, but I want you thinking about what's next. I want you thinking about how can I live a more expansive life? How can I live a more fulfilling life, a more impactful life? I don't believe that we were sent here to go through all of the things, get healed from all of the things, and then keep it to ourselves. I don't believe that's what we're supposed to do. Hi, Cynthia. Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much. So tonight we're looking at these 5 questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Where did I come from? What are my gifts? What do I value? And a bonus, who do I serve? Remember, throughout the live and even after the live, I want you thinking about which one of these questions have you most recently and most frequently contemplated? Sweet Annie says, why am I here? That's a good one. Paul's Plants Project says, what do I value? What do you really value? One of the story, I'm going to tell you a quick story. My daughter, those of you who know me know that I have two daughters. And when my 21-year-old was 9, she said, Mommy, I was out on the playground and I had a surreal moment. And I said, surreal moment? Do you even know what surreal means? She said, yeah, it's like when I'm outside on the playground and I'm looking on and I know that I'm on the playground and I'm out there, but it feels like I'm not out there. She said, that's a surreal moment. I said, you're right. You might be on to something. She said, well, sometimes when I'm out there, I know that I'm playing with them, but it feels like I'm standing on the outside and I'm looking at them. And I'm asking myself, why am I here? Why are any of us here? And those are questions that I want us to contemplate. Why are any of us here? I don't believe God sent us here just to entertain ourselves. I don't believe He sent us here just for us. He sent us here so we can have impact, so we can have His gifts manifest through us in the earth. That's why He sent us here. So we're going to move on to these questions. I had a young lady, I was speaking to a young lady today, and she said, I just don't understand why I don't see myself the way other people see me. And that often happens. We don't see ourselves the way other people see us. And it largely, I'm going to highlight this question right here. What are my gifts? It's largely because when something is your gift, it's just, you just feel like that's who you are and everybody can do this. So what I said to her was, a star doesn't know she's shining. You're just walking in there on your little 5 points and you're just shining. And we're like, what? Oh my gosh, how is she shining? And because you're so bright, you're not looking around to see if and noticing that everybody's not actually shining like you. So when we do this identity work and you start to understand that God created you just the way you are for a specific purpose in who you are, then you start to recognize your shine. But not in a way that's arrogant or puffed up, but in a way that serves other people. So let's talk about the question, who are you? Let's sit there for a minute. Not your role, not what you do, because that's usually what we think about, but who are you when you're not performing? I was an assistant superintendent. I was a principal, recently retired principal. Who are you when those things are no more? When you're no longer a principal, you no longer have the title of assistant principal, who, or assistant superintendent, or whatever your role is. Who are you? Most women answer this question based on their roles. They'll say, I'm a leader, I'm a mother, I'm a professional. But those are also functions, not identity. Again, I know that these are not questions that we're going to be able to answer right now, but if you can just type in the chat one word that you feel like really describes who you are. One word. Thank you so much for liking the live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One word that you think describes, yes. Yes, Scent says, I'm a creative. I love that. One word that describes I'm Annette. One word that describes who you are. I love this. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, perfectly designed, for my assignment. Loving, I am loving, I am blessed. Yes, we're all of those things, and we're none of these things that the world has told us that we are. And that is a part of the problem. We get so lost and our identities become so enmeshed with what the world has told us to want until we wake up one day in the middle of somebody else's life. In the middle of, hi, Lady Q, good to see you. We wake up in the middle of somebody else's life with no idea of what we're supposed to be doing. That's when the why action happens. I am loving, I love it. That's when you're starting to recognize, wait a minute, I've been doing this all of my life. I don't even think I don't even eat pork chop. That's not even what I do. Whose identity have I taken on? That's when we have to go inside and start communing with God. Holy Spirit, show me what am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to do this work that you've given me to do when I'm in the right lane, when I'm aligned? Everything that you've been through has been pointing you to what you're supposed to do. Doesn't always feel like it, but everything that you've gone through was to build your character for the thing that he has for you to do. Hey, Linda. Linda says, I'm blessed. Good to see you, Linda. I'm blessed. Everything that you've gone through has been to position you for the thing that you're supposed to do. It was to build your character for the next group of people that you're supposed to help. When you believe and you understand that God is always working behind the scenes on your behalf, you start to look at your problems a little differently. I remember, you guys know that when you go through divorce, you don't just lose the marriage or the husband. You lose sometimes the entire support system that goes with that, or even an entire family that you've called your own. I remember riding in the parking lot. I was so overwhelmed and so frustrated. I remember literally crying out, what am I supposed to do with this? Because I was trying to handle getting my child to school. I was trying to handle getting to work on time where I was still required to lead. So I was healing and leading at the same time, going into my office crying and then into the hallway smiling. I didn't know what to do. At that time, I was working with a coach, and I had a call with her that night, and I was telling her all about the situation. She said, listen, from this point on, every problem that you face, every challenge that you face, you're going to be facing it with knowing you're coming to a solution to help somebody else. So what do you do with the parent who's lost everything, doesn't have a support system? What kind of system can you put in place for that person? So every challenge is the solution to a problem. You're the answer to somebody else's problem. That's why it's so important for us to get healed. And we talked about healing is a decision. We have to decide that we're moving on. It's important that we heal, that we move on from the story, because we're writing a new story. So who are you? Why am I here? Now that's sometimes a tough one. The big reason why we're all of us here, let me just simplify it for you a little bit. It's really just to help each other be here and help each other get to heaven. That's really the simple answer. But what each person has to figure out is, what are my gifts? How do I fulfill the why I'm here? Some of you don't know Lady Q, but Lady Q is a comedian, and she's coined the phrase, laughter is healing. And she just goes around the world bringing laughter, bringing joy, bringing healing. That's how God is using her gift to fulfill her why I'm here. Cynthia is on here. Cynthia is indeed a creative. She's also my esthetician. She did a pretty good job. All right, Cent. Your gift is working, Cent. So All of us have a different gift. I believe everything that I went through, God speaks to me through kind of a professional leadership lens. That's how He deals with me. But He allowed me to lose it all so that I could be sitting here letting you know or showing you what it looks like to truly operate in your gift, to truly heal, to walk in the full authority of who you are and be passionate about it. I believe that we're all here to help each other. We were all born to solve a problem. We were all born to lead. But becoming leaders is a part of the evolutionary process. Sweet Annie says, we're here to help others. That is correct. Oh, I didn't see this come in. That's good. I'm favored. Absolutely. I'm favored. That was the answer to who am I? What are your gifts? If somebody can type in, what are your gifts in the chat? What are your gifts? What are your gifts? Here to share what we know. Absolutely. What are your gifts? Type in the chat, Facebook. Who am I? Why am I here? I skipped one, but we'll come back to that one. What are my gifts? What are some of your gifts, Pause Plants projects? Lady Q says, I love it. To heal people through laughter. To heal people through laughter. When you're looking to leverage your story, gardening, Pause Plants Project said her gifts are gardening, singing, I like that, and encouragement. I love that. Making items. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You cannot leverage what you refuse to look at. I can't remember who said this, but he says an unexamined life is not worth living. About every 2 to 3 years. I used to say 3 to 5 years, but with the rate of change today, now I say every 2 to 3 years. You really should re examine your life, reevaluate what you're doing, reinvent yourself. I've been retired now for 85 days, super excited to be able to jump fully into my business. It's been the best feeling. I did it while I was working, but there's nothing like being out here and spreading your wings to the extent of your wingspan. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like operating in your purpose. There's nothing like it. But in order to continue to do the work, there has to be an evolution in your identity. You can't keep operating from the same place. Again, I said this earlier in the live. What got you here is not going to get you there. So we are looking at these questions, and we're on what are my gifts? And your gifts are not just what you're good at. It's almost like the lady that I talked about earlier who's walking through, and she was born a star, but she doesn't know that she's a star. Everybody else is looking at her and seeing her bright light, and she's just walking on her little 5 points, and she's wondering, why can't I see myself the way they see me? It's because you have to sit down and get to know yourself. You got to start spending time with yourself. You got to start understanding what your gifts are so you can be confident in your gifts. I'm confident in helping people get a breakthrough. I'm confident in helping people with transformation because of all of the stuff that I had to go through to get my own breakthrough, to get my own transformation. So the very thing that was sent to break you really is your platform. It's the thing that you stand on to help other people. That's what people tell me. Yeah. When you're born rich, you don't know you're rich. You don't know that other people don't live like this. That's what it feels like when you walk in the room. You're walking in the room and you're just shining like a star because you were born a star. And everybody's looking like, oh my gosh, she's shining. And you're like, what? What are y'all looking at? You're not even looking around to see that other people aren't shining. You're just coming in and being yourself. When you can truly grasp how much God loves you, how much He wants you to win. He sent you here to win. Sometimes we just get so bogged down with the things that happen to us in life. We get so pushed down by all of the things until we forget that He really is rooting for us. He really does want us to win. Your next level is connected to what you've been through. It's connected to all of the stuff that you've overcome. It's connected to who you became as you went through all of the things. And that's what healing is. A lot of people ask me, Dr. Swinney, how do I know when I'm healed? And sometimes I've heard people say, uh, when it doesn't affect you anymore, or when you can talk about it without crying. And I would beg to differ because really your body remembers. And sometimes the crying is not because it hurts, the crying is because you remember. I remember what it was. I remember how hurt I was. And you're often mourning for that person, the person that you were. But healing is truly an evolution. It's who you're becoming over time, it's who you are becoming as you're going through the stuff. You really should be uh, made new as you're coming through the things. And then you can look back and say, sometimes I look back at my old self, the me that was uh, in the marriage, the me that was in the position, and I'm not necessarily sad for her. I just wish I could tell her how big she was even then, how much power she had even then, how strong she was even then. My change, Sweet Annie says, my change and my awakening happened over 6 years ago. Absolutely. Mine was about 10 years ago when it started, but again, it just keeps going and going and going and going. And it looks different at different times. Sometimes it comes out of extreme pain or some kind of dramatic change. And then others is very voluntary. It's, you know what? I think I'm ready to do something different. Or it expands. My business has expanded over time. It's expanded because I've expanded. Me inside, I've grown. God has moved me into a different position. Pause Plants Project says, mine was 5 years ago when my brother passed. Death could be a dramatic, cause a dramatic shift. Anytime you're closing a door and walking into something new, and it's important that you intentionally engage in the healing process. When I started going through all of the things, I ran for help. I ran to the gym and got a personal trainer. I ran to divorce support. I ran to therapy. I started taking Dave Ramsey classes. All of the things I had to create my own support system. I got a writing coach because I wanted to write a book. I had to build the thing that I needed to support me because what I understood, even though I was in this situation, success leaves clues. I had been a person who had achieved success, so I was able to look at some of the things. What did I do to get my doctoral degree? What are some of the things that I put in place? Uh, Sometimes you have to believe in other people believing in you. So those people who see the star and you can't see yourself, you got to believe in, oh, well, they're looking like that. I must be a star. Then you start moving like a star. You start moving through the world like you are shining. Pause Plants Project says, I locked my hair a year later, which helped me to heal through all the phases. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I have a very interesting. I just talked to my sister about her locking her hair uh, as she was going into a phase, and she recently got the locks out. And she said, "You know what? I got the locks because I didn't like the way I looked, and I wanted my hair to grow out. My hair grew out. It was really long. I took the locks out. My hair was still long, and then I cut my hair, realizing that it wasn't the hair at all. It was the healing that she did as she grew the hair out. So that makes sense, Pause Plants Projects. Thank you guys again for coming in. Listen, please follow me on all of the social media platforms. TikTok, I am at Dr. Barbara Swinney. Facebook, at Dr. Barbara Swinney. LinkedIn, Dr. Barbara Swinney. And YouTube, it's Deeper with Dr. B. Please follow me on all social media platforms. We do have an event coming up where we'll be walking through these processes. We're going to take 3 days. It's called the 3-day live intensive, Leverage What You Lost, Reclaiming the Woman Behind the Story. So for 3 days, we'll get together from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock on April 14th, 15th, and 16th. We're going to spend some quiet time getting to know ourselves. Of course, it'll be much more intimate than this because we'll all be in the same room via Zoom. VIP will have live coaching sessions from 9 to 10. We'll be doing some real-time transformation. You're going to walk away with the clarity that you need around your story. We'll also help you start identifying the pivotal moments in your stories and teaching you how to lay them out so that you can start building your platform, start writing your book, or start putting together your business. So if you go to deeperwomenleagueglobal.org/events, you'll see everything that's happening on all 3 days as well as the VIP. Listen, I want to thank everybody for coming in, but I also want to bring your attention to, we didn't talk about what do I value? What is it that you truly value? What is it that you truly value? And then using all of these things, who do you serve? After you've gone through all of the stuff, clearly identifying who you serve, who can use my services. What are you saying, Pause Plants Projects, when you say honesty? What are you saying there? And are you saying you serve God? We do serve God. Who did God send us to earth to serve? I was having a conversation with one of our, another deeper woman, and I said, do you realize that Jesus was the master and the servant? He was the master and the servant. He dominated and he served the people. And if we're made in his image, we should at least be able to do some of the things that Jesus did. I value honesty and serve God and others. I love that. I love that. Cynthia says, oh my gosh, you're right, Cynth. Listen, Cynthia's been there with me. Cynthia said, you grew so much through that. I did. Cynthia was right there holding my hand, because how many of you know sometimes you got to have somebody right there holding your hand? Lady Q said, and to inspire and encourage others. Is that what you value, or is that what you do, Lady Q? Linda says, speak encouraging words to others. Sometimes we just need an encouraging word. Sometimes it doesn't even take a whole lot. Just tell me I'm doing a good job. Tell me whatever. You look good today. Sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot. There's Lady Q saying again, that's what she was sent to this earth for, to heal people through laughter. And she does a really good job with that. All right, so I said 30 minutes, and just like every other night, it's been 45 minutes. Listen, I would love for you to join me for the 3-day live intensive, April 14th, 15th, and 16th. We're going to be walking through these processes. If you go to deeperwomenleagueglobal.org forward slash events, you can register there, as well as you can see what's going to be happening on each of those days. It's going to prove to be a most beneficial time so that we can go ahead and unlock the things that are blocking us. I have so many coaches. I've had so many coaches over the years, but right now, currently, because I knew that I was moving into a different arena, I have 3 coaches that I'm working with. 2 of them, I meet with them twice a week. You can make a decision, but if you don't have a process or a structure or somebody to help guide you through the process, chances are you're going to fall back into those 3 X's that we talked about. You're going to fall back to bondage. My job is to help you get the transformation. My desire is to see you transformed and doing the thing that you know that God sent you here to do. So join us on April 14th, 15th, and 16th for the 3-day live intensive. Go to deeperwomenleagueglobal.org forward/events to see everything that's happening on those 3 days. They are going to be power packed. I'm super excited to be able to share this time with you. And thank you so much for stopping by here. You could have stopped by any live, but you saw Barbara and you stopped here. So thank you so much for your support. Cynthia says, before we go, she says, I value people, God. Hold on, let me put it up here so I can see. Let's just do that. I value people God puts around me. That is for sure, Cynthia. I value people God puts around me. All right, and with that, we are going to close. Thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Please join me here. Look out for all of the notifications. If you're on Facebook, please subscribe and set your notifications. On TikTok and Facebook, I meant YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and set your notifications. Follow me everywhere on all of the platforms at Dr. Barbara Swinney. Like, subscribe, share out this live to another woman who needs it. Thank you and good night. Bye-bye.